Welcome to Clay Center Now, and I'm Bob Melius with Clay County Economic Development Group. And my guest here today is Jim Beck, who is part of the Vestry of St. Paul Episcopal Church, and also on the board of directors there for our museum. And today, we've asked him to come here and tell us a little bit more, getting the civilian perspective of Americorps, who we had on this show just a little while ago, get an idea of what Americorps has been doing and your reaction to them. So Jim, thank you for coming here this morning.
You're welcome, my privilege.
What were some of the Americorps came to do some work, and what kind of work were they doing for both the church and the museum?
Well, it started really with the church. We have several food programs going, one of which involves us preparing meals for Kids Cafe in the summertime. And those are prepared in the church kitchen, but the church kitchen is in the basement. So moving that volume of food up out of the basement was a huge challenge for us. And we had long wanted to have an elevator or a lift that would help us get that food up, loaded into the trucks so it could be taken to the parks. And so that generated this idea of installing a lift in the church and getting an Americorps team assigned here who could help us with all that's surrounding that. So that was the beginning of the idea, to bring a team here to help us.
How big is this elevator? Because I'm thinking elevator, and I think I remember you talking with the Americorps guys, asked them, is this big enough to carry like 2 or 3 people, or is this like what I believe they call a dummy waiter,
yeah,
where you just throw some trays up there and then haul it up to the next floor?
No, this can haul 4 people up to 750 pounds. So it's sort of like an elevator, except it's in an open shaft, and you have to press the button continuously to get it to move. It's about half the price of an elevator. And for our purposes, it's going to work just fine.
So was there anything already inside the church that was already kind of in place, infrastructure in place, so that when Americorps came in, they just had to maybe build a platform, or did they construct everything?
We had to hire some expert construction people to put in the shaft, but they used Americorps labor, like on the wallboard and painting and preparing the surface for painting, things like that. And then the elevator itself came with installation, so those were professional people who came to do that kind of work. But these were resources for us for labor, really, attached to that project. And then once we put the elevator on the main floor and in the basement level, then there had to be a lot of remodeling in that room to make it fit, to get it all painted up, and so forth. So that's what the Americorps team did for us at a church. However, we didn't have enough work for them for 3 months, and they are sent out for a 3-month term. So we approached the museum, and they had tremendous needs for labor. Right now, this is the exact precise time when they need it. And so that's how the partnership got formed. And I would say we've used about 1/4 of their time and labor, and the museum has used the other 3/4 of their time and labor.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
So how did the museum, well, obviously you sit on the board of directors with the museum.
Yes.
So were you instrumental in putting those, marrying up the 2 organizations with the one asset?
I'm guilty.
So Americorps has you to blame. What kind of work was Americorps doing then at the museum?
Well, as you know, the museum purchased a former furniture store that had been vacant for a while, and they had quite a bit of their display areas still in place, small little partitions here and there. That didn't really fit the needs of what we envisioned the museum was going to require. So there was a lot of demolition of those interior walls, and taking walls back to a more original condition in the building, and then rehabbing those areas, those walls, putting in a few new walls as well. There's been a lot of construction inside.
So they were throwing a lot of sledgehammers in and crowbars.
Yes, and those little gals did as much as the men did. When they first came here, they were helping with the move itself, out of the old building into the new. Most things had been boxed up. They helped with a few of those boxes, and then put them into our warehouse on Grant Street in an organized fashion, so that room 303 in the old museum now has several boxes full of the 303 room stuff, and it's all together in the same place in the warehouse.
Well, that's impressive, because I knew there was some of the work that they were doing with the museum was moving. I didn't realize they were doing demolition and doing some more remodeling. That's really fascinating. Well, we got to take a break right now, and in a little bit we'll be right back, talk a little bit more about what Americorps was doing here in Clay Center and how they were taken care of by the Episcopal Church and Museum. So don't go away.
You're invited to come visit, shop, and spend some time in beautiful Clay Center, Kansas. A full house located at 510 Dexter in Clay Center is your upscale rent-to-own store with the lowest prices guaranteed. They only carry high-quality name-brand products that are made to last. At a full house, they put the customer first by offering free delivery and setup of all merchandise, free relocation while renting their products, free loaner services, and the best price guaranteed. Stop into a full house today for all your home furnishing needs. Shop beautiful Clay Center today and find what you've been looking for.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communications services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
And welcome back to Clay Center Now. I'm Bob Melius with Economic Development Group, and with me is Jim Beck, who is part of the vestry at St. Paul's Episcopal Church here in Clay Center, as well as sitting on the board of directors at the museum. And we've been talking about Americorps and the work that they've been doing. A couple of months ago, again, we had the kids here themselves, if you can call them kids, to tell us about their experiences, and now we get to share a little bit more about our experiences with them, which, according to a lot of reports within the community, have been really excellent. Jim, tell me, were there any costs to bringing Americorps here? Because I'm familiar with the paperwork that went out, as we were discussing earlier, the paperwork that went out to bring them here, but I imagine we've got about 8 or 9 kids that have come. They just don't come for free.
That's right. Well, our team consists of 10 people, a leader plus 9. The leader's a little older, he has more experience, and then the 9, this is their first year in Americorps. The obligation of the hosting group, which is St. Paul's, is to provide housing, a place for them to cook and eat, and provide for showering facilities. As a church, we didn't have the showering facilities, so we bought a membership for them at the Wellness Center, and that has worked quite well. They, as young people, enjoy working out, and I don't know if they've used the pool or not, but it has just been very acceptable for them to use that facility for their showering, and they're used to that. I mean, that's not unusual. And then they set up camp, really, in our church basement, a room for the women, room for the men, and they used our church kitchen to cook. They provide their own food. Yeah. So our only expenditure really was that Wellness Center membership, and it was only because we didn't have showers in the church.
Wow. So they, if I remember correctly, they were telling me about their own funding. So everything really is just all fun. Their transportation, the monies for food and stuff, and all you gotta do is provide space.
Yes, and they come with a fully equipped insurance program too, so we didn't even have to buy workman's comp for them. That's all provided. So it's a wonderful program for communities. They cannot do anything for private entities or church entities, but they can do it for public community projects. And our community project as a church was this food program. That's how it qualified for it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because of all of the work that was being done there. How did you guys get connected with Americorps? I know Donna Long has played. She's been on here before, and she's talked about this. Was it just her that just...
No, it was Lori who suggested it to Donna, who started investigating Americorps. So the idea originally came from Laura Huber.
Okay, and Laura Huber is our director here at Economic Development, so...
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
We all have heard of Americorps. We've all heard of Vista, which is a similar but different program. And so we investigated it, found out we thought we would qualify, and sure enough, we were accepted. It's fairly competitive to apply for one of these 3-month assignments for a team.
Okay. What do you think, since they came they're just providing this labor, everything's paid for already, do you have any idea of how much money that Americorps has been able to save the Episcopal Church and the museum, Clay County, Clay Center?
You know, we really should sit down and calculate that. The amount of money that we would have had to spend on the labor that was needed for this project would have been immense, and far more for the museum. When you get 10 people in their 20s who are good workers and work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you get a lot done. And they've been here for 3 months, so the amount is large. I don't have it in my head.
Yeah, I imagine just 40-hour week, and I know they were doing more than 40 hours a week, and then room and board, out of all those expenses. Yeah, I'd be really curious to know what that total is. That has to be huge savings for this county, because again, these are projects that serve the community. They're not serving single entities.
They're community projects.
So the elevator's already working at the church?
Yes. It's functioning. We had a dedication on March 19th, and we had the Americorps team there to participate in that dedication service. And so it's functioning, and we're really glad to have it.
Has it changed anything as far as, I know a lot of the food programs kick off during the summer, but have you guys been able to appreciate it yet?
Very much so. We've, on either side of the lift, have been able to find space to store the commodities food and the back snack food. So that is more discreet now, and then the Kids Cafe starts up in a matter of weeks. So the cooking will come straight up the lift and into trucks and off to the parks.
It's going to be exciting to hear about how that work and this legacy, essentially what Americorps is leaving behind, is going to be able to continue to contribute to the needs of our community. Yeah. Well, we're going to come back in a few moments, talk a little bit more about Americorps, and hopefully Jim's got some stories for us about what has been going on these past 3 months, and we'll be willing to share those, so don't go away.
Around here, we believe in local values like hard work, family time, or a fair price on reliable internet from a local company. That's why Eagle Communications delivers great local values, like a range of internet options to fit your family's needs. Fast and consistent enough to power everyone's devices at once. All at reasonable prices we're proud to offer our friends and neighbors. Ready for better internet? Give us a call or visit eaglecom.net and discover our local values today.
At Eagle Communications, we deliver what matters to your business. Our services are fast, reliable, secure, and competitively priced, giving you more value for your hard-earned business dollar. With Eagle Communications, you're not just another number, you're part of our business family. And we deliver peace of mind with local technicians who provide dedicated system monitoring and support. Connect to something better. Call Eagle Communications, and let's talk about what matters to your business.
Welcome back to Clay Center now. Again, with me is Jim Beck from the Episcopal Church and the museum, and he's been sharing with us his experiences with Americorps as they've been doing work in our community at St. Paul's Episcopal Church, working on a lift there for the food program and helping out with our museum, getting them settled in and doing some remodeling on the inside. And I've asked Jim, are there any particular stories in your dealings and experiences with Americorps that really just stand out as truly memories that you're going to be able to cherish?
Yes, the team really has endeared itself to the church, the community, the museum in ways that we never anticipated would happen. They really love Clay Center. Well, you know, I think sometimes we take Clay Center for advantage, and we don't necessarily realize that other people would really enjoy this town, and they have. There are a few on the team who've come from small towns, but others from big cities like Brooklyn. Well, none of them has had as much exposure to a community like this, and to be able to see it on the inside, its boards, its committees, its volunteers, its various programs, like they have here in Clay Center, and they are very impressed. Several of them have said, we want to come back. Some of them have said, we want to come back for Piotique at the end of September.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them will come back. One hopes to come back and find a temporary job here for the few months he has between his gigs. So that we did not anticipate happening, but it has. The team members tell us they walk down the streets of the town and people stop them and say, oh, you're one of the Americorps team people. Thank you for coming, and strike up a conversation. So that has been a great side benefit to the work that they actually did for us.
I know I've talked, as I've had opportunity to talk with them on and off, yeah, their appreciation and their affection for this town. It's so different. The people are warm. That's just a great testament to who we are as a community. And just to have them to be included and brought in, yeah, it's been real special to have them here.
What surprised me was they show up even after hours for board meetings. And some of them will say, yeah, I just want to sit in and see how this board functions, how you do your business. Really, you know, you're off work now. You don't have to come. Well, yeah, I want to come to the board meeting. Well, I've never met people like that in my lifetime. Who wants to go to board meetings if you don't have to?
I mean, there's a difference between if you bring a contractor in to your community to do some road work, to build something. They might, you know, use your businesses, frequent some restaurants, but to have a group of people that come in and just really want to be a part of it, want to experience it firsthand, and not just simply come in and do the work. That's rare. That's extremely rare.
One thing we did at church was each team member was assigned a different church family. So we've been able to do things on a one-to-one basis with the young gal or the young man. On weekends, take them out to dinner, go to see something around. And that has also strengthened the bond between the team and the community. And they've said there's been no other community that's ever assigned them sort of a friend who will watch after their welfare while they're here.
Wow.
So that was a valuable thing for us to do, very valuable.
There you go. Good fellowship is,
yeah.
You just can't beat that. So this is maybe a silly question to ask, but would you recommend Americorps to any other community?
I think it's a great program, and it could well work for a lot of different situations in other areas. The application process is strenuous. There are 2 levels to it. You have to pass the first level to be in the final running, but it's possible. I mean, it happened here. So yes, I think it's a very valuable program. Its future is a little bit uncertain. Rumors are that it's on the chopping block. And that distresses us. It distresses the team members because we think it's an incredibly good use of tax dollars to have young people exposed to communities and vice versa, like this.
Let's hope that doesn't get canceled or moved, or if something happens that someone else picks up the program and runs with it. I understand these guys are getting ready to leave here at the end of the month, and it's going to be pretty bittersweet. There's a plan for a potluck, a farewell thing that is set up?
Yes, the community is going to do a farewell the night before they leave, and then they leave on Friday the 31st and drive back to Denver. They have a week and a half between assignments. Their next assignment will be in McAlester, Oklahoma. One of the things they've done is decide to stay together as a team. That sort of shows how they've bonded with each other, too.
Yeah, I remember in our interview, some of them had worked together for actually quite a long time, so they've got some pretty strong bonds. Well, Jim, hey, I appreciate you coming and sharing a little bit more about Americorps, what they've been doing. They've been a huge blessing to this community, and apparently we've also been able to reciprocate that blessing. Folks, unfortunately, by the time you've watched this, that potluck will have already taken place, but look around town. There's benches that have been made by the Americorps team, the flower pot benches here in Clay Center that are all over downtown. A little bit more of their legacy is left behind, and if you're ever in the museum or just happen to be helping out with the food program at the Episcopal Church, there's their handiwork as well. So thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.